Hello guys, welcome back to another session of learning Unity with me. So I think where we last left off, we were doing the waypoints, right? The pathing. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Oh, we're learning list, right? Alright, let's set it up first. That's not what I wanted. We wanted to load this. Just organize it a little bit. Just a little bit more. I think I should be fine. Let me just do something real quick. Alright, let's go. Let's start. Oh wait, we're supposed to do a challenge. Add waypoints for enemy to follow. Create an enemy pathing CS, which we did. Serialize a list, name, waypoints, and add the waypoints to your list. Alright, so we can... Well, it didn't say to remove this, so you might need to have that on. Let's see. So this will be config params, serialize field, and it's going to be a list of waypoints. Let's see how lists are done in C#. Like how to instantiate one. It should be the same as Java, right? List T, so you name the type and then you set it equal to a new list, right? Yeah, right here. But what type do we want it as? It is a game object technically, right? So let's do that then. We'll call it waypoints. Cool. Once we do that, we can let it compile. And then we're going to go to the zombie enemy, which contains the script. I bet it does not. Now it does. So now we have waypoints, and we're just going to drag this. So now it should have a path. Wait, what? I think that's how it works, right? We're just creating a reference to the waypoint that we've created in the path, which is right here, these 3 waypoints. I'm going to make the zombie go zigzag to kind of throw off the player. Alright, let's continue. I gotta make sure to do it in the prefab. Also update the prefab. So we're here. We're gonna drag in the script. And then we're gonna drag in the path. Ah, so I guess I can't do that. Oh. Let's see what he does. Oh, I see. That's what we do. That actually makes more sense. So wait, go to zombie player, type mismatch. Yeah, it makes sense. Add, or rather, let's subtract it to 0 again, and then take these three, and then drag it here. Set this. I wonder, oh, probably because it's a list, and when we passed it, we were only passing a single object, so that's why it wasn't compatible. Because this is probably a list, so if we wanted to, we would have made it as a list of a list, like list transform, and then we'd be able to pass this in. But since we did like this, it's only accepting individual objects. Alright, so what's next? Let's do that as well. We're gonna create a new folder and we'll call it paths. Yeah, paths, and then do this one, put it there. I see, that's how it's supposed to be. So go to prefab, go to zombie, lock, go to paths, drag and drop. I wonder why we can't pass it in there. Yeah, I wonder why I can't pass it in there. Maybe they changed it. Oh, that's why. Yeah, I did. Good thing he said that because I would have been so confused. And I did have a feeling he might have done something with the Unity version, but I wasn't entirely sure. So yeah, so the reason why it didn't work is because the newer version, I guess, deleted that ability. So we had to do it like we had to include the path in the hierarchy, and then place the waypoints onto the specific enemy object. But he did say that I feel like that would kind of be tedious. Like let's say we're having multiple zombies, and we would have to keep doing that. Doesn't sound like a good idea, but he did mention that we're going to use some sort of for loop to kind of combat that. So we'll see. Alright, let's see if I did that correctly just before we move on. Yeah, so we got zombie enemy. That's not like it. Yeah, it has the waypoint. Cool. Oh wow, they actually have a method for it. That's pretty cool. So I could see this being used for like NPCs. Like let's say you need an objective for an NPC to do something before you continue with the game. You can use this method to move the NPC alongside with your player. So this is the code flow. We're going to, if we haven't reached the last waypoint, then we're gonna call the move towards target waypoint. But we're gonna check if we've reached the target. If so, increment to get waypoint. So I guess we're comparing the transform between them, and so that we've checked if if the enemy reached one of the waypoints. If so, then increment the next waypoint that has to go through, and yeah, so then it loops probably, and then if we've reached the last waypoint, then we want to destroy the game object. I never really, I need to utilize pseudocode more. Oh, no, try. I think it'd be a lot more readable if we did it like this, maybe. So that it doesn't reach the whatever the maximum value is, which is good since we're like for computers we always start with a 0, right? So yeah. Actually, let me read this. I forgot I haven't read this. So, it takes in two vectors, the current vector, which I assume will be the enemy's position, and then the vector 2 will be the waypoint position, and then the float max distance delta will be the move speed. So let's see, it moves a point current towards target. This is essentially the same as vector2.lerp, but instead the function will ensure that the speed never exceeds max distance delta. Negative values of max distance delta pushes the vector away from the target. So as a reminder, because I kind of forgot, you want to be frame rate independent. So we need to multiply, like I guess, movement with that of time. Alright, so right. Alright. So to call it, it seems like this method is like a static method, so it belongs to the class. So we can just call it by calling the class's name dot move towards. Then it would be the current position, which is transform dot position. let's do private void. What would we call this? So we're essentially checking for the waypoint, right? So or actually we're trying to we're checking, but we're also moving. Waypoint index less than waypoints count. Trying to move it. What would be a proper name? I guess maybe I'm overthinking it. How about move enemy? Just say move enemy. Right? Does that move enemy to waypoint? How about that? To waypoints. Waypoints. I'll probably mention like so. Actually, I don't think we need to mention it, right? Or actually, maybe we do. If it reaches the last waypoint, the object gets deleted. They're gonna I think that makes sense by itself. We don't need to comment that. Alright, let's try it. Let it compile. It's gonna be kind of, wait, what? That's pretty cool. But we are gonna, how about we start the zombie like right here, right? And then we go to waypoint. We're gonna move it here. then here, I guess. The end goal is to go back there. Alright, let's see how this works. Wait. Oh yeah, because you destroyed the... I was like, wait, what happened to the... That makes sense. So maybe we should add more waypoints to make it look more natural, and then maybe turn it. But I guess the turning portion might be a little bit difficult, so we'll just go with this for now. Yeah, it's kind of odd how it is right now. Like it teleports to there. Oh. So it teleports, so then we should have it here then. We should have it where it's at, because that's where we set the position of it, right, in the beginning of our code. Okay, let's put that back. Let's see here. Let's actually place it where it's at. That looks a little bit more natural. I wonder if we can just make it follow like the person's. I just want to try that real quick. So the target position, like we can just comment this out. And do something like if transform position, there'd be a collider, right? Right, to do that. So kind of like, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because, you know, we are going through a course. But what I was thinking about was, first of all, you know, our zombie enemy add a collider, our player add another collider, and then in either one of the scripts, if one collides with the other, you know, we destroy this, but then, you know, we lose HP or something. But for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is because he might go over it. So yeah. Wave config scriptable object. Oh, wave one's like the level one. I was thinking of the waypoint for some odd reason. config, enemy pathing, which one's what? So wave 1 and then wave 2 and then wave. Well, these are scripts. Oh, I see. So we have an enemy spawner script, an enemy script, and it's just describing how they function. Order of wave, spawn each wave, enemy in the wave. Enemy sprite, enemy hit points, shooting behavior, score for kills, enemy death effects. Let me take a picture of that because I feel like it's going to be important, or just have a good reference of it. Let me just so we've created the enemy pathing already, so we need to make the wave config, and actually we also have enemy 2, right? So we just need to make these two classes or scripts. So let's go ahead. Wave config. I'm gonna comment this and see what it contains so we can. So contains one path waypoint data, enemy prepad to use, spawn speed for wave. My bad. Number of enemies in wave and movement speed of wave. I'm also comment actually I think we do it on top of the namespace. So then here we are just doing what? Move the enemy along current path. And then let's also do the enemy. I'll take the enemy. Oh, actually, we don't have an enemy script. My bad. We have an enemy. That's right. That's right. All right, let's continue. Wait, what? Wait, what? What is a scriptable object? MonoBehavior is the base class from which every Unity script derives. When you use C#, you must explicitly derive from MonoBehavior. The class doesn't support the null and then let's check out scriptable. Scriptable objects. So scriptable object is a data container that you can use to save large amounts of data independent of class instances. One of the main use cases for scriptable objects is to reduce the project's memory usage by avoiding copies of values. This is useful if your project has a prefab that stores unchanging data in attached MonoBehavior scripts. Every time you instantiate the prefab, it will get its own copy of the data instead of using the method. In storing duplicate data, you can use scriptable object to store the data and then access it by reference from all of the prefabs. This means that there is one copy of the data in memory. Oh, I see. So this is used to save large amounts of data because we reference to the prefab itself rather than creating a new prefab, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. Just like MonoBehavior, scriptable objects derive from the base Unity object, but unlike MonoBehaviors, you cannot attach a scriptable object to a game object. Instead, you need to save them as assets in your project. When you use the editor, you can save data to scriptable objects while editing and at runtime because scriptable objects use the editor namespace in editor scripting. In a deployed build, however, you can't use scriptable objects to save data, but you can use the saved data from the scriptable object assets that you set up during development. Data that you save from editor tools to scriptable objects as an asset is written to disk and is ever persistent between sessions. This page provides an overview. The main use cases for scriptable objects are saving and storing data during editor session, saving data as an asset in your project to use at runtime. So if anything, I guess what I can get out of it is that it does save large amounts of data. I guess I would need to see the actual thing to probably understand it better. So every time you instantiate the prefab, it'll get its own copy of that data. So instead of using the instantiating method, you can use Scribble to store the data next to it. Oh, so you reference to the actual prefab object without instantiating it to the scriptable object. And I messed up. This is not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be here. Alright, we'll see. We'll see what it's about. And I'll probably give my idea of I want to see how it works. Yeah, I remember we did something like that. I guess it's been a while. Um, do we have to like create? Oh, right here. So that's what it means. We have a new wave config. We could say wave 1, right? That's what he did. And then we have click on it. I guess that's it. And I guess we might need to create another folder for waves and store this into here. Maybe that's what he's gonna do. So I guess that's what this does. It's been a long time since we've used these. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as is too, just so for learning purposes, I don't get confused. So these. You know, this kind of reminds me of like an interface a little bit, but you know, of course, it's not an interface. Like it's very different. But I guess like it's just holding like I don't know how to describe it. I can see the main difference between this and a mono behavior script. Like this one's more like I wouldn't say like object oriented, but like it seems like it only contains like data related stuff as opposed to mono behavior, which has like it does have data too, but it has like functions to like do stuff with the data. Here it just looks like we just have like these just so that we're able to reference them from other projects. So this is kind of like imagine like one of those assistants or receptionists I think that would be a good example. And you know they have all of this stuff, and let's say you know like a contractor like walks in, wants to get some of the stuff that that her service provides. So we go to this config to get the references that we need. That's what I'm seeing right now. So, but it could be wrong. But for now, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna group the floats together. Oh, we do have methods. But I mean, it is just getters and setters, right? Which is exactly what we're doing, right? I wonder if we need setters too. Yeah, I wonder if we do have setters, because, you know, maybe we want to change the number of enemies, maybe we want to change the speed, the time between spawn, and or the random factor, because I think those would be nice. Those would be nice. Same thing goes with enemy and path prefab too. So maybe we might have setters here. It hasn't mentioned it, so I don't know. Wait, I didn't even realize he was already doing that. Alright, let's go do that too. So we gotta go to the waves, go here, lock this in, go to prefabs, drop in the the path, drop in the enemy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just using a for each loop. Yeah, I need to review this. I mainly just use for loops. Oh. Yeah, actually that makes sense. I see. Like this. Or is it like no, it would be transform. Is it something like this? Then oh. Oh, there it is. Wait, it didn't show up. And then we do waypoints dot add. Is that like what it is? I think that's how you did it. Oh, in yeah, I think child might be better. What I'm kind of confused about is the transform this part. Isn't this returning a the transform of the prefab? I always thought like a for each loop would, you know, iterate through a list. Is transform a list? So that's why I'm kind of confused a little bit. Because when we pass in the... we're probably getting a compile error maybe. Nope. Alright. So when we pass in the path, right? And when we mention the transform, isn't it not referencing just this? How is unless what I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking that that for path prefab we're referencing the list, right? Because path is a list of transform. We're referencing the transform of each object within the list. That would make more sense. Let me just double check how a for each works in C#. Alright, let's see. The for each statement, C# iterates to a collection of items. The for each body must be enclosed. The code listing one creates an array of odd numbers here. So yeah, this makes sense to me because odd array is like a list, right? But when you're referencing, you know, path prefab dot transform, is that really a list? I need to debug that. I probably need to see it for myself, because if it is, I'll be kind of I guess intrigued by the results. So I'm just gonna have this here just in case I forget, since we are almost running out of time. So we're gonna say path prefab transform plus path prefab dot transform. Actually, we can test it out right now. Actually, we deleted void start. Debug this. There should be already an object in there, so it shouldn't be a problem if we just have it. So let's go. No compiler issues. Nice. Let's go play it. Let's go see what comes up. Wait, what? Oh, because the object hasn't been instantiated. Oh, I see. Can we just drag it? We probably can't, can we? Oh, I can't test it out, dang it. Alright, that's cool, that's cool. I'll probably test it out when he eventually talks about the implementation. Alright, so yeah, it's already 1 hour, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Peace.